This is lecture 15 on the course Differential Equation and Discrete Mathematics. We are discussing chapter 2, second order linear differential equation. So in this chapter, in this session we will be discussing some important properties of Wronskian. So I would put them as a theorem. Theorem 1. Basically we will discuss two theorems in this topic, in this video. So the first theorem says that Wronskian of given two functions, or in fact given two solution of the second order differential homogeneous equation will be identically either equal to 0 or will never be equal to 0. So if y1 of x and y2 of x are any two solution of homogeneous differential equation, y double prime plus p of x, y prime plus q of x is equal to q of x into y is equal to 0. I'll call this as 1 on interval I, on an interval I then the Wronskian Wx of y1 and y2 are either identically 0 or never 0 on I. A special note over here is that we are taking Wronskian of the functions of a homogeneous differential equation. So right now we are talking about the Wronskian of a function of a homogeneous differential equation. So this result is true, need not be true for any kind of functions. Okay. Now to prove this, I am going to show that this Wronskian, the zeroness or the non-zeroness of Wronskian is actually dependent on one value of Wronskian at one particular point in I. So I will show that Wronskian as expression w of x can be expressed in terms of Wronskian evaluated at one particular point in I. So that is the idea, and if that Wronskian at that particular point is equal to 0, then the given whole function Wronskian will be equal to 0. If it is non-zero, then it is not going to be 0. So that's the whole idea. So let us prove this. Let us write down the idea as a proof. So proof of this. So I don't have to mention everything because it's hypothesis. It's clear that y1 and y2 are the solution of this given equation 1. So we will directly start with the Wronskian. How Wronskian of, here I am using w of x considering that y1 and y2 are known. So this is same as y1 of x, y2 of x, y1 prime of x into y2 prime of x. So using the basic definition of determinant, this is same as y1 of x into y2 prime of x minus y1 prime of x into y2 of x. So I would call that's a value of Wronskian, and I will call this value as my first expression or first equation. So if I differentiate this to get the first derivative of this Wronskian, so differentiating 1 with respect to x, we get, so that's a derivative of this So there are two terms, so basically you will get 4 terms. From first term you will get 2 terms because it's a product rule. So y1 of x as it is, y2 prime is already there, so you will differentiate once again, so double prime, plus you will get y1 prime of x into y2 prime of x as it is. Next, minus, okay, this term will come in bracket, the differentiation derivative of this y1 prime of x into y2 of x. So that same as y1 prime of x, I will keep that as it is, derivative of the second term y2 prime of x, plus from the second term, okay, the second term of will be y1 and y1 prime and its derivative, so y1 double prime of x into y2 of x as it is. Right now, if I split this further, you will see that some term gets cancelled. This term y1 prime of x, y2 prime of x is getting repeated as a minus, so that term will get cancelled, and I will have y1 of x into y2 prime of x minus y1 double prime of x into y2 of x. So that's my first derivative of Wronskian w prime of x. I would call this expression as 2. Now I'll use the fact that y1 and y2 are the solution of given differential equation 1. So since y1 and y2 are solution of 1, I'll write down here, since y1 and y2 are solution of differential equation 1, which I have mentioned above, they satisfy the given equation. We have okay, those two equation, y1 also satisfies the equation, y2 also satisfies the equation, y1 double prime plus p of x into y1 prime plus q of x into y1 is equal to 0. Let me call this as 3, and again y2 also satisfies, so y2 double prime plus p of x into y2 prime plus q of x into y2 is equal to 0. So I'll call this as 4. Okay. So now what we will do is that, see, the third equation is in terms of y1. So to that equation I'll just multiply y2, and fourth equation is in terms of y2. So I'll multiply this equation by y1, and then I'll see the difference, either 4 minus 3, or then I'll see the difference, and I'll see that I'm getting the Wronskian and Wronskian prime in the given equation. So we gradually convert this into the differential equation in terms of Wronskian, and then solving to find the value of Wronskian. So in fact we are actually searching for the first order equation in terms of Wronskian of x. Okay, so multiply 3 by y2 and 4 by y1. So we get, hence first one will become y2 y1 double prime. I'll just write p instead of p of x and q instead of q of x, so it is understood that it's a function of x again. And this will be p into y1 into y1 prime plus q into y1, okay, this is y2, y1 into y2 or y2 into y1 is equal to 0. So I'll call this as equation 5. And similarly, multiplying 4 by y1, I'll get y1 y2 double prime plus p into y1 y2 prime plus q into y1 y2 is equal to 0. So I'll call this as equation 6. Now we will perform the subtraction, either 5 minus 6 or 6 minus 5, but I would prefer 6 minus 5. So that means you are subtracting 6 from 5. So I'll perform 6 minus 5, we get, okay, So that is this minus this. So I'll write down term by term. So from the first term, I'll see that I get y1 y2 double prime minus y2 y1 double prime. From the second term, I can remove p common. So I'll have p into y1 y2 prime minus y2 y1 prime. And from the last term, you get nothing, it gets cancelled, this minus this, so that's equal to 0, and so you get this as the ultimate equation. Okay, now if you observe this, the first two term give rise to it's your derivative Wronskian w prime. Just look at this. Okay, so that's from the second. This is exactly same as Wronskian plus NH prime plus this is same as Wronskian equal to 0. So that is this is from 1 and 2, and so you get a differential equation in W. Okay, so this is the first order differential equation in W, and you can see that this is of the form separable variable. So in fact, we have, that is, I'll write down dw by dx, okay, because the derivative independent variable is x, plus p of x into w of x is equal to 0. So this is the first order differential equation. Our aim is to determine the value of w, so we would do that. So we will have to solve this. Okay, so here I'll write down this as, I want to separate the variable, and you can see that the variable can be separated. I'll write down this as p of x minus p of x into w of x. So I'll take this w of x on the next page. So we get dw by w is equal to minus p of x into dx. Okay, so this is the this is how we can separate the variable. Now integrating with respect to x, okay, what I'll do, I'll fix a point x naught, and I'll in the domain in the interval I, and I'll integrate this given differential equation from x naught to x, so that we can get the value of Wronskian in terms of x naught. So integrating from x naught to x, okay, where x naught is a fixed point in I, we get integral of x naught to x dw by w is equal to minus integral from x naught to x p of x into dx, which is same as, okay, this derivative of this is nothing but the log of w, and log of w minus, so log of w of x minus log of w of x naught, that is what we will be getting. So I can directly write down this as log of Wronskian of x upon Wronskian of x naught. Okay, and this part would remain as it is, x naught to x p of x dx. And so from here you can take, to get rid of this log, you just take exponential on both sides. So you get Wronskian of x by Wronskian of x naught as e raised to integral of x naught to x p of x dx, and that is same as, so therefore I can write down explicitly the value of Wronskian in terms of Wronskian of x naught. So that's, here there is a mistake, Wronskian of x is equal to Wronskian of x naught e raised to minus x naught into x p of x dx. So this expansion on the right hand side is very interesting. You can see that this part, exponential function, for it will never be equal to 0 for any values of x. Okay, and you can see that, so that means Wronskian of x for all values for all x in x is dependent on this Wronskian of x naught. So if this Wronskian of x naught is equal to 0, then this Wronskian of x will be equal to 0, and if it is non-zero, then it will never be equal to 0, and this x naught is in fact an arbitrary point in I. Okay, so therefore, if you know that for any arbitrary point Wronskian is 0, then the Wronskian on the whole interval will be 0, and if it is non-zero, then it's the value for the different Wronskian will change, but it will never be equal to 0. Okay, so thus we make a note that Wronskian of x is equal to 0 if and only if x naught Wronskian of x naught is equal to 0 as I'll write down this in bracket as this integral e raised to minus of x naught to x into q of x dx will never be equal to 0. Okay, and therefore, since x naught is any arbitrary point, Wronskian of x naught, Wronskian of x will be either identically equal to 0 or it will never be equal to 0. Now, since x naught is arbitrary, we can conclude that w of x will be equal to 0 for all x in I, or w of x will never be equal to 0 for all x in I, because the value depend on this arbitrary value with this fixed value on I. So, hence the theorem. Again, one more important property we will discuss in this session only. So, I will consider this as the next theorem. It says that, okay, this is in fact an equivalent property for the solution of homogeneous differential equation to be linearly independent or linearly independent. So, it says that if y1 of x and y2 of x are two solutions of homogeneous linear differential equation. One, I wouldn't mention it again and again, it is the same differential equation which we have used in the first one, on some interval I, say closed interval a comma b, then they are linearly independent, they are linearly independent, they are linearly independent. So, first we would say for linearly independent what is the property required, and then you can generalize this for linearly dependent also. If and only on I, if and only if Wronskian of x is never equal to 0 for all x in I. So, basically you do not have to check the Wronskian for all values in I, you just check for one. If it is non-zero, then definitely, if it is non-zero for any values of, then definitely it is not going to be 0. Okay. So, in fact, from here itself we can see that the two solution of a homogeneous differential equation will be linearly dependent on I if and only if the Wronskian is equal to 0. Okay. And this in fact become a very important property as an equivalent statement to check whether the given solution, it is more important that we are discussing about the solution of a linear differential equation. This result is not true for any function. Okay. Only if they are solution, we just have to check whether the Wronskian is 0 or non-zero to check for their linearly independency or linearly dependency. Okay. So, the proof for this is again here we make use of existence and uniqueness theorem. So, it is an if and only if statement. So, it will have two parts. So, first part I will consider that this two solution y1 and y2 are linearly independent. Okay. In the hypothesis it is already mentioned that y1 and y2 are the solutions, I am not repeating it. So, suppose y1 of x and y2 of x are two solution, are two linearly independent function, linearly independent in I, are linearly independent on I, then we should show that Wronskian of x is non-zero for all x in I. So, so how do we proceed? Suppose I say that Wronskian is equal to 0 for at least one point in I. So, I would prove this using contradiction. So, suppose I want to show that this, okay, I will write down this as a claim. Wronskian of x is not equal to 0 for all x in I. So, if possible, suppose there exists x naught in I such that Wronskian of x naught is equal to 0. So, we are expecting to get certain contradiction, maybe the contradiction to our assumption that they are linearly independent. So, in fact, we are basically proving it in a contrapositive way. So, then if this Wronskian of x naught is equal to 0, then the system, okay, now here we use some matrix algebra. So, then the system okay, Wronskian is basically the determinant of y1, y2 and y1 prime and y2 prime. So, if it is evaluated at x naught, then Wronskian of x naught will be y1 of x naught, y2 of x naught and y1 prime of x naught, y2 prime of x1. So, if this is equal to 0, you can talk about the system of this form C1 y1 of x naught plus C2 y2 of x naught is equal to 0, and the second equation C1 y1 prime of x naught plus C2 y2 prime of x naught is equal to 0. I will consider this as the system 2. Okay. Now, one thing observe over here, Wronskian at x naught is given to be equal to 0. So, this is the system with the unknown C1 and C2. So, what can you say about this system? If the coefficient determinant of the coefficient of C1 and C2 in both this system is equal to 0, then we know that for this homogeneous it is going to have a non-trivial solution. That means, you can find some non-zero solution to this system, and this system is have the unknown C1 and C2. Okay, we are solving it for C1 and C2. So, thus there exists then the system has non-trivial solution, What do you mean by saying non-trivial solution? Okay. Basically, we are talking about this kind of system. Let me explain it over here. Suppose I have this constant a x1 plus b y1 is equal to 0 and c x1 plus d y1 is equal to 0. So, here the variables are x1 and y1 and our unknowns are a and b, a, b, c and d, right. No, sorry, x1 and y1 are the unknowns and the variables are a, b, c and d. So, this is a homogeneous system. So, this has a trivial solution provided the coefficient, the determinant of the coefficient, that is determinant of a, b, c and d is non-zero. So, this has a unique solution, this has a trivial solution if this determinant is non-zero. So, this is going to have a non-trivial solution if and only if this determinant is equal to 0. Non-trivial means we can find some non-zero values of x1 and y1 such that this determinant such that it satisfies this given system. So, same way over here, our unknowns are C1 and C2, y1 of x naught, y2 of x naught, y1 prime of x naught and y2 prime of x naught is already given. So, this since this w of x naught is equal to 0, w of x naught is nothing but the coefficient matrix of this system. If it is equal to 0, then the given system should have should have a non-trivial solution. That means, I can find other than 0, I can find non-zero solution also. So that is 2 has, the system 2 has solution C1 comma C2 where at least one of the C1 and C2 are non-zero. Non-zero solution means basically at least one of this solution, at least one of this value C1 and C2 is non-zero. So what we will do is that we will assume that one of them is non-zero. So let me consider say C1 is non-zero. Okay, so one of them is 0, one of them is non-zero. So now I'll take y to be equal to, okay, here I'll use the existence and uniqueness theorem. So let y be equal to, y of x be equal to c1 y1 of x plus c2 y2 of x. Okay. So now this is a linear combinations of y1 and y2, and we know that y1 and y2 are the solution to the differential equation 1. So that means this y also have to satisfy the differential equation once. So I can say that then y is also solution of 1. 1 means the first equation, the homogeneous linear differential equation. Okay, so if it is a solution, then and it satisfies this initial condition, you can see that y of x naught, that is exactly this value from this 2, c1 y1 of x naught plus c2 y2 of x naught, that is equal to 0, as well as y prime of x naught, c1 y1 prime of x naught plus c2 y2 prime of x naught is equal to 0. That implies that y also have to be 0 on the whole I because of the existence and uniqueness theorem. Okay. Also note that also y of x naught which is equal to c1 of y1 of x naught plus c2 of y2 of x naught, that is equal to 0, and y1 y prime of x naught, that is same as c1 y1 prime of x naught plus c2 y2 prime of x naught is equal to also 0 from 2. Okay. Now you can see that this y is a solution to the differential equation 1, and it satisfies the condition y of x naught is equal to 0 and y prime of x naught is equal to 0 for some arbitrary point x naught in I. So that means by uniqueness theorem, the only possible case for this y is that it is a 0 for all x in interval. So thus by existence and uniqueness theorem, I can say that by existence and uniqueness theorem, which we have discussed in the previous class, y satisfies 0, y of x is equal to 0 for all, not only at x naught but for all x in I. So that is same as saying, what is y? That is, what is y? c1 y1 of x plus c2 y2 of x is equal to 0 for all x in a comma b. So now what is the twist over here? We have, so that is same as saying there exists c1 c2 not both 0, right? Because from the system 2 both cannot be 0, we have c1 and c2 such that the linear combination with y2 is equal to 0, and this cannot happen because this implies that y1 and y2 are linearly dependent, which contradicts to the fact, which contradicts to our assumption that y1 and y2 are linearly independent, and hence our assumption that Wronskian of x naught is equal to 0 for some x naught in I is false. Hence, our assumption that Wronskian of x naught is equal to 0 for some x naught in I is false, is not true, and therefore Wronskian of x will never be equal to 0 for all x in I. So, this is one part. Now, conversely, we have to, converse is very simple. Conversely, we have to assume that Wronskian of x is never equal to 0 for x in I, and we have to show that y1 and y2 are linearly independent. Suppose Wronskian of x is not equal to 0 for all x in I. So, I will prove that y1 and y2 are linearly independent. Okay. So, to prove this, I will have to start with C1 and C2. Let C1 and C2 be constant such that their linear combination such that C1 y1 of x plus C2 y2 of x is equal to 0 for all x in I, or for all x in I, and we have to show that what we have to show that C1 and C2 are equal to 0. So, only possibility for C1 and C2 is equal to 0. So, if this is equal to 0, then this immediately implies that their derivative, that is C1 y1 of x plus C2 y2 of x, y2 prime of x, also have to be equal to 0 for all x in I. Okay, now we have obtained a system. C1 y1 plus C2 y2 is equal to 0, and C1 y1 prime plus C2 y2 prime is equal to 0. So, this is linear homogeneous. This is a system of linear homogeneous equation with unknown C1 and C2. Okay. Now, does this imply that C1 and C2 is equal to 0? Does this have only trivial solution? Does this system has only trivial solution, or does it have non-trivial solution? If it has a trivial solution, that means the only possible value for C1 and C2 is equal to 0. So, that means we have to show that this system has only trivial solution to get C1 and C2 equal to 0. That is our ultimate task. So, since we know that, now I will use the fact that Wronskian of x is never equal to 0 for all x in I. That is same as saying the determinant y1 of x, y2 of x and y1 prime of x, y2 prime of x is never equal to 0 for all x in I, and this in fact is sufficient to show that the given system has a trivial solution. So, thus I can state that I can say that these results are from the matrix algebra. This system 2 have only trivial solution. That is C1 is equal to C2 is equal to 0. This implies that y1 and y2 are linearly independent. Okay, now if you look at this proof, that is the converse proof, you would notice that I have not used the fact that y1 and y2 are the solution of the given differential equation. So, this part can be used to say that if Wronskian is non-zero, then y1 and y2 are linearly independent. So, with this I end up this session. We will meet in the new session, we will meet in the upcoming lectures with various properties of Wronskian once again, and then we would discuss the general solution of the homogeneous second order differential equation. Thank you for watching this video. Have a nice day ahead.